Hi, I am Roberto Urrutia and I am from El Salvador. Our team is the basics and this is the model explanation for the Simio competition. First, I'm going to talk about in general about the problem of the urgent care center, and then I will talk about more about the technical approach. So let's talk about the problem. So we built a custom urgent care center model, and the center has a registration area, a triage room, an exam room, and a procedure room. There are 9 patient types. Each one receives a particular treatment and follow a flow of different processes. So each type of patient tolerates a specific time before he or she enter at the exam or procedure room. So that time is named Live Without Being Seen, LWBS. Remember this because we're going to talk a lot about this term. So remember it, LWBS. So this center is staffed by a receptionist, some nurses, general physicians, imagine imagine technicians, orthopedic physicians, orthopedic technicians, and physicians assistants. So each one has hourly cost, and there are 2 shift types, early and late. So the purpose of the model is to find the optimal amount of personnel by minimizing the cost constraint to keep the LWPS lower than 10%. That is the constraint of the model. So this is in general what is the problem about. This is what we have, the urgent care center, and that's what we have to optimize. So let's talk about something about the technical approach. Our model has one source. This is the source for the patients. It has four servers. I'm sorry, 4 servers. One for the registration, other for the triage, the exam, and the procedure room. Then there are 2 sinks, one for emergency exit and one for non-emergency exits. Uh, then there are 21 workers, and there are 21 because as you remember there are 7 types of personnel, and each one of these types we defined that they will have 3 shifts: early, late, and overtime shift. So 3 times 7 equals 21. So this is the reason why there are 21 workers. Then there are 9 types of model entities. This is one for each of the patient types. Then let's talk about the data tables. We have 2 data tables, one for the mix of patient demographics, if they are male, female, and those things. Then we have another data table for the patient types. Uh, this is including the mix, the LWBS for the patient, and the priority for the patient. Uh, we also have one sequence table, and it shows the flow of the patients through the servers. So if some patients first go to the registration area, then to the triage, and so like that. The patients follow some flow through the server. So in the sequence table, all that things are specified there. So, but let's talk about how did we accomplish the live without being seen constraint. So first we create a Boolean model entity variable. We called it sta_hbs. That means state has been seen. So we set the value false when a patient is created, and the value true when a patient enters to the exam or procedure room before processing. So each patient has a LWBS time. Then, when a patient is created, the LWBS process starts. We have a process for that. So the process starts. So this process starts to run the LWBS time of that patient. So when the LWBS time is out, the process check if the variable stat HBS, uh, what is the if it's true or if it's false. So if the variable is true, the patient remains in the center, and if the variable is false, the patient exit the system. So it's like this, uh, the way that we accomplish the LWPS constraint, and this is how we measure it. So after this, we have some assumptions that we assume the quantity of the personnel, the starting quantity of the personnel, in order to optimize the then with the simulations we did. Also, we assume that if some overtime is required to treat the patients, all the staff will have overtime, so all the staff will be there. So, well, then we run the simulations, and we got the results, the minimum cost, the LWPS that we accomplished, and the quantity of the personnel of each type of personnel. So pretty much this is our model explanation, that our technical approach, and I hope everything is really understood by you. So thank you very much.